Hello and welcome to Hitting Bootcamp. Well, I'm so glad that you signed up and took the next step to find out the information that will help you to become a better hitter or a better instructor of your hitter in the family. First off, my name is Bobby McKinney, and I've worked with hitters for the last 30 years at all levels, from age 4 and 5 years old up through professional players. And I'm not a professional actor. I'm not a professional spokesperson. I am a hitting instructor. So these videos you will see sometime will be a little rough around the edges. Production value might not be that of a Hollywood movie. However, would you rather me be a good actor and a good movie maker, or be a person that can get you information that can really help you succeed in the plate? At the plate. So before we get started, before we get to the information that you really signed up for, which is the one thing that'll raise your batting average and the one thing you don't want to do, and we'll get to that in just a second, let me just give you a little background on myself. Again, I've been working with hitters for the last 30 years. When I was very young, I took an interest in hitting about the age of 12. And back in the day, that was when Rod Carew was playing, George Brett, those guys, Fred Lynn. It was in the late 70s, early 80s, and I was a left-handed hitter, and I really admired those hitters. So I began to really evaluate hitting. I would talk to people about hitting. We were fortunate enough to live in a town that had a AAA baseball team, and I was able to go out and sit along where the bullpen was and listen to the pitchers talk. So over a period of 3 or 4 years, I really learned what pitchers do to get hitters out, how they approach hitters. And I guess what you'd call it now would be backwards engineering, where you get the result and work backwards to find out what you need to do. I kind of backward engineered hitting. I didn't know what I was doing then, but that's exactly what I was doing. I was finding out from pitchers, professional pitchers, what they thought, what they tried to do, what they try to do to get guys off balance in the box, and what they try to do to have success over a hitter. So all that formulation went into, it really sparked my interest, and it really led into wanting to know more about hitting. I was fortunate to be around some professional instructors, and I would pick their brains. And also there was a couple of books out at the time. It was really 2 books, The Art of Hitting, Ted Williams' book, and then a book by Charlie Lau. Was put out, and those were really the only 2 resources we had. This was back in the Stone Age, when there wasn't video, there wasn't the ability to just go to the internet, because the internet wasn't even there yet, and so you had to kind of learn on your own. So I began a journey for about the next 7, 8, 9, 10 years to become a better hitter. Was able to play through high school and into college, and was fortunate enough to work with college-age players as soon as I finished playing college baseball. I was able to coach in the summer and work with high-level collegiate players, and continue to work with some of the best athletes that college baseball has to offer. And through that, I was still able to develop what my passion, which was hitting. I began doing lessons when I was very young. When I was 16, 17 years old, I went down to Florida to a couple of baseball camps and would pick the brains of the instructors down there. And when I came back, all my buddies would ask me, what did they teach, or what did they instruct? What were their big thoughts? And I was fortunate enough to have a batting cage in my backyard back in that day. I cut grass and did odd jobs and work until I saved up enough money to buy my own batting cage. And the local league that I was part of, allowed me to put their pitching machine in the batting cage as long as I let all the teams come by and hit. Well, I would hit, and then teams would come by and hit, and they would ask me what I thought of their swings, what would the instructors say about their swings, and before you know it, I was a hitting instructor, and I was working with my peer group and also giving lessons. I was in high school, and I was giving hitting lessons. And this passion continued. I was fortunate enough to become affiliated with the Pittsburgh Pirates in a scouting capacity back in 1992. 91, 92, excuse me, 90, and currently are still affiliated with a major league team in a scouting capacity. So I also have had the good fortune to work with some of the biggest showcase companies in the country and do some evaluating for them, and really enjoyed that experience. So over the years, I personally worked with thousands of players, instructing them, thousands upon thousands, and I've evaluated tens of thousands of baseball swings. And anybody that would do that and put that much time in would be able to be in the position I am, really, and know what works, what is successful, what leads to success, and what successful players are doing. And that's where we get to this point. I've had an indoor facility for many years training players, but just like technology changes, the way that hitting is taught, or really the way that teams are put together, has changed. 15 years ago, people would come to you wanting instruction and wanting information, and now they want to get underway. They want to practice. They want to play. They want to rent a cage from you, and then they want to teach themselves because they've watched information on online, on YouTube, and Vimeo and places like that. And also they've gone to some hitting hitting camps, or have gone to some coaches clinics and gotten some information, so they want to work with the player themselves. Therefore, all my instruction, all my videos, things that I've accumulated over the years, I've compiled them into one course, which you are now on the threshold of seeing. We're going to tell you about the biggest thing that you need to do to have success here in a minute, and something that you need to really watch out for to make sure that you're going to have that success, and one thing to do and one thing not to do that'll really, really make a difference. The course itself is made up into video modules, and the first section that you can delve into is about I think about 2 hours worth of information, and it really goes over getting your feet wet. It's learning the vocabulary and the language of hitting. So many people, they're out and they're really working hard. They mean well, and players are working hard taking swings. Coaches are working hard with their players. Parents are working hard with their sons or daughters. However, the process that they follow, I see very, very, very few people follow the process that I see gets a lot of results. And you really need to know the proportions of what you work on. You really need to know the components of hitting, the mechanical components, the physicality and the movement components, and then you can start putting things together. Because what so many people do is they have a lot of things going on correctly in their swings that are going correct. They get up and they get into positions that are correct, and the swing basically looks correct. And a lot of the information that a person gives is the correct information. However, if you're given if you're telling somebody how to paint the house, and you're really good at painting the house, but their house really doesn't need painting, it needs a roof, then you need to know to go to the roof. Let's put the roof on the house before we paint it. And that's a simple analogy, and you can break it down any way you want to. The big thing in this whole concept is I'm going to throw a lot of information out. And a lot of it is just going to be explanation on what is happening, what cause and effect is. I was my own guinea pig. I took over 100,000 swings a year from the age of 12 to 22. Took over 1 million swings personally myself. So I learned through that isolation and hitting in the cage what adjustments caused what effect. If I would raise my hands, what would that cause the ball to do? If I'd lower my hands, what would that cause the bat plane to do? If I would open up, if I would close. And I didn't try this for just 1 or 2 swings. I tried this for a week. I tried it for 5,000 swings. And I'd find out what caused what. So that really, I didn't know what I was doing at the time, as in building a foundation where now I can look at a player, and if I see the ball doing something, I know a correction to go to correct that. Because every ball tells a tale. Every ball that leaves the bat tells something about that swing. Now, a hard hit, really hard hit line drive means that the swing was correct, the alignment on the ball was correct, the timing was correct, the right mental state was correct, you were in the right position, everything lined up, and you really got up there and reacted to the ball. Anything else that's off of optimum, there is something that kind of didn't go right. Now, what typically happens is if a player doesn't have a good at bat, somebody will give them information, and it could be the player themselves, gives them information that is really affecting another part of the swing that was correct. So you're undoing what was correct, and you're still not addressing really where the problem was. And we'll get into this in our first level of modules that you can look into. And that'll be the vocabulary of the swing, how the swing works, balance, leverage, your mechanics, strength, vision, all the components that go into having success. We'll break those down into a lot of detail through conversation, and it'll allow you to kind of get an understanding of how all these pieces fit together. And it's kind of like going to a restaurant. Pretty much when you go in a restaurant, the food that you're eating is all the same components, pretty much. And in some places put them together in a better manner. And that's what we're trying to do, is to allow you to understand some do's and don'ts in hitting, things that cause something to go in a certain direction. And a lot of times what that direction is opposite of what you think it is. So that's just an introduction to what we're doing. We're going to be getting to our hitting tip here in a second. I want you to take a look after you view the hitting tip. I hope it's very helpful for you. And take a look at the course and what we have to offer. Again, I'm nothing but a guy who's been around hitting for a long time. I've worked with a lot of good hitters. I've worked with hitters who have worked from being a JV player, non-starting, to starting on the JV, non-starter varsity, starter on the varsity. Guys that have made their way, worked hard enough to get into college baseball, play at the college level, and perhaps get very, very fortunate to have an opportunity to play professionally and get paid to play. And then some players have made it to the big leagues that we've had opportunity to work with. And I can tell you characteristics of all these players. We can go into a lot of detail. Level 2. If you participate in level 2, we'll go into a lot of the physicality. It'll break down a lot of the drills. It'll break down even more the nuts and bolts of what we're doing. And then if you choose to have a full membership, that goes into everything. You have an ongoing pipeline and conduit with me through Facebook. We have a Facebook community page for just our VIP members where we'll meet once a week. And you're able to come on and ask questions and post some videos of your swing, and we'll just go ahead and analyze them, right out in front with everybody, and that way, people can kind of see what we see or see what I see when we're evaluating, and it'll be ongoing. Daily, I try to put up something about hitting, especially during the season, whether it be a thought, a comment, or whether it be a swing. We might see a good swing in a game, and I might put that swing up and let everybody take a look at it. And eventually, what you want to do is you want to start being able to look at a swing and break it down yourself and identify why that player didn't hit. Okay, and until you do that, you're never going to be a true hitter. For some people, this is going to be a step in a direction to develop, just develop some basics and get an understanding of some basics and get going. For others, it's going to be a way to move yourself into another level. And for some people that really dig into this content and what we're going to do, because eventually there'll be hundreds of hours of content here, you'll be able to know where to go. You can't watch it all. You could, but you want to be able to know where I need to go in the modules to find out what, maybe something that can help me. If I'm having problems getting to the ball, if I'm a right-handed batter and everything's flaring off to the right side, there'll be a module on there about that. There'll be, where you can look and see your problem and hit that video and take a look at it, get a few drills, go back on your own and work with them, and then improve yourself as a hitter. So I'm very excited for this. This is a great new adventure for me. It's something I've been doing for years, and we're putting it together where now we can really reach the masses and allow people to take it at their own pace, work with it, become an instructor, or become a person who knows their swing inside and out. And that's what we want you to do, is be very comfortable with the hitting process. You'll go through different levels of understanding, and you'll start to see things. And you'll be watching college games on TV or in person, watching pro games, and you'll look at them a little bit differently. And we want to be a guide for you. And I really hope that you take advantage of all the information that's available. And I guarantee you will not regret it. I guarantee you will not regret it. You'll hear so much information here that, one, you won't hear anywhere else. You just won't hear this information. And I know because I hear all the other information, and almost none of this is out in general public. And number two, you'll realize that a lot of what you hear is not really the way it is. And so, not saying that everybody's, things are wrong out there, but we're just trying to give you tools that you can work with and to build up your swing and to have success. So here comes the video. Take a look at it. I think there'll be another video after it. If you want to stick around, we'll throw a little bit of bonus on the back side of that video. And good luck, everybody. We look forward for you to be part of the Hitting Boot Camp. Take care.